Families of those killed in last year's Marjory Stoneman Douglas mass shooting will make their way to Florida's capital today. We'll tell you why they're protesting.
And a concerned mother in Hamilton County seeking legal action after firefighters were caught on camera boxing with her autistic son. We'll show you the video.
Plus, a viral video where a young Quincy boy reels in a big catch. See it here for yourself on Sunrise.
Live from the ABC 27 studios, this is ABC 27 Sunrise.
Thank you for joining us for Sunrise on ABC 27. I'm Ava Van Valen.
Yeah, glad you could start your week with us. I'm Channing Frampton, and let's get right over to Reed Lieberger with your first alert forecast.
In just a few hours, parents who outlived their children after last year's mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School are protesting at Florida's capital.
Yeah, the state Senate is considering reinstating Scott Israel, who was the Broward County Sheriff at the time of that shooting. Those parents do not want him back in charge. Governor Ron DeSantis suspended Israel on January 11th for what he called inadequate action during the school shooting. Last month, a special master appointed by the Florida Senate said he should get his job back.
Fred Gutenberg, who lost his daughter Jamie during the shooting, says, quote, "You would like to think that he would have done a better job after February 14th, but he didn't." Israel was held responsible in part for his deputies and the department's failure to act on warning signs about shooter Nicholas Cruz. An armed deputy stood outside of the school but didn't go inside while 17 people were shot to death. The Florida Senate is holding a special session all week to consider whether to reinstate or remove Sheriff Israel for good.
A Georgia man is back in court today to find out whether he will be executed for a murder that happened more than 30 years ago. Georgia's parole board, will decide if they'll give leniency to Ray Jefferson Cromartie. Court documents say he killed a convenience store clerk in 1994. Cromartie would be the third person put to death by Georgia this year.
And also happening this week, Catherine Magbanua will have her first case management hearing after her case ended in a mistrial last week. Magbanua is one of 3 suspects accused in Florida state law professor Dan Markel's murder. She's charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and solicitation to commit murder. Her boyfriend, Sigfredo Garcia, was sentenced to life in prison for the same charges last week. His lawyer says Magbanua is to blame.
Yeah, she did it. She had complete control over Sigfredo Garcia from day one.
Management hearing starts Tuesday at 10:30. She'll remain in jail until the case goes to trial again.
One mother seeking legal action against her local firefighters after seeing a man boxing with her autistic teenager. Look at this video. Eventually, the boy falls to the ground and struggles to get free. Hamilton County deputies say the incident happened at the end of September. They got the report on October 4th. The entire Jennings Volunteer Fire Department is suspended while this investigation continues. The mother has a lawyer, and she says she wants to prevent this from happening to any other families. She says the community needs to be sensitive to people who live with disabilities.
Different kids, they don't process feelings and thoughts the same way we do. Some people look at it, oh, well, they were playing and it went too, they were just playing and it got too rough, oh, the kid's not really hurt, so it's not a big deal, but it really is.
Pinkert says her son is having headaches, but is okay besides that. At this point, no one's been charged. While this investigation continues, the Crossroads and Jasper fire crews are handling emergency calls in Jennings.
And during the FAMU game on Sunday, there was a fight that was caught on video.
Yeah, it happened at halftime. Just look at this video. Coming into Sunday, these were 2 of the top teams in the MEAC. Emotions got the best of them. 3 FAMU players were thrown out, as well as defensive coordinator Ralph Street. Now, so far, none of them have gotten any further punishment. FAMU head coach Willie Simmons explained how it all started.
Of course, with the configuration of the locker room and the sidelines, the teams have to cross. So we wanted to make sure that A&T crossed and got in before we sent our guys, and apparently they didn't get all the way in before we went out. And You hate to see that kind of stuff, but that's not what this game is about. You know, it's about doing it on the field, between the whistles.
Both schools are now waiting to hear from the MEAC office about potential suspensions. Now, outside of this, it was a really good game. The Rattlers won 34-31 in overtime, and 6-1. FAMU is tied for the best record in the conference. Now, I get it. You know, this is a lot of competition. Things get heated. Do
Very
you think?
intense.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Do you
I
think?
played soccer in high school, and it never really kind of escalated to that level,
Right.
but things can get really heated when it's that tight of a competition.
I played tennis, and we didn't have any huge fist fights, but I can see how you can get heated.
All right.
All right, Wakulla County Fire Rescue is getting some brand new firefighters today. Chief Louis Lamarche is set to swear in new staff members and volunteers during a Board of County Commission meeting. And if you'd like to be present as they take their new positions, you can join them today at 5 o'clock at the Commission Chambers on Aaron Road.
And Florida's First Amendment Foundation has a new president. Pamela Marsh will take over in December. She replaces Barbara Peterson, who announced her retirement earlier this year. Marsh is a former U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Florida. The First Amendment Foundation is a private organization that promotes public access to government records throughout the state. And
a young fisherman's big catch has been caught.
You want me to take over this story?
Yeah, why
for
don't you?
All right. Well, the fisherman's big catch, it's caught on camera. Quincy's Keeman Cooper was fishing with his dad when he caught the biggest bass in his life, a 7-pounder. The video is up to 16,000 views. People just can't get enough of this joy, as you can imagine. He says it was all because he used a lucky black worm to catch that fish. He says there's nothing like reeling in a big one that can be with his dad by his side.
I said, Daddy, this is a big one. And it was just a moment of a lifetime when I had pulled that fish in. And I was not expecting to get a big fish like that.
Well, instead of taking the catch home for dinner, Kamari rubbed its scales, told it to grow bigger, and put the bass back in the water, but not before saying, quote, "One day we're going to meet again." And hopefully they do.
That is so cute. And wait a minute, what is this lucky black?
I was just going to ask you the same thing.
Yeah,
Is that a
lucky black worm.
Florida thing? I'm not sure.
I've never heard of it.
When my dad would take me fishing, I had a hard enough time just getting the worm on the hook.
Right. Yeah. I didn't even go there. But
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to figure out what that is
Could've used
because
some luck.
yeah.
Good to see that video, though.
All right, let's go to Reed Lieberger for your forecast.
Well, there's some good news if you're heading to the pump this morning. AAA says gas prices will be a little bit lower this week. They've gone down 1 cent per day for the past 3 days. A spokesperson says the state average could fall to $2.41 a gallon by the end of the week. Right now, Florida drivers are looking at an average of about $2.47.
And you might want to practice your two-step before your morning bagel. A new study in the UK says people who exercise before breakfast burn twice as much fat as those who exercise after breakfast. Researchers say when you work out on an empty stomach, it forces your body to turn to stored carbs and fat cells. I like the sound of that. Your metabolism also continues to work at a faster pace for up to 2 hours after an intense workout.
I can tell you it's true.
Do you work out in the
I
morning?
used to get up and do 30 minutes of cardio before
Wow.
eating anything, and I was in the best shape of my life when I was doing it.
Yes, that's the key. I used to be in great shape too
Yeah.
when I was doing it. I'm
You
going to
gotta
start
keep it
again.
up.
Yeah, I think we need to challenge each other with
All right,
that.
we'll be accountability buddies and make sure we're doing
I
it.
love it.
Well, you know, it's time for some fancy footwork in the capital city. Stay tuned for a look at the first taps, twists, and twirls on the dance floor for Tallahassee's Dancing with the Stars. But first,
Here's a look at last night's Fantasy 5 numbers. Good luck.